We were talking about best care, and you were talking about we are worthy of it, we deserve it. And I think that's the question that everyone should ask themselves if they find themselves feeling uncertain or anxious or maybe just plain dissatisfied with the care they're receiving is this the best I can expect? Should I expect better? And if you feel that your care should be better, then you should ask for better care. One of the things I really um, find extremely upsetting about the national healthcare system for the UK is the fact that you can get better care. You have to basically scream and yell to get it. You have to push as hard as you possibly can, and frequently from the very beginning in order to get that care. You can get it, and it's like, well, oh, just asking doesn't even get it. So let's start with asking for better care, or asking and expecting someone to answer the questions that you have, even if it's not today, or maybe they need to look it up or something. But I think one of the biggest problems I've had with the out of hospital midwives is the standard narrative of, I had this concern, I asked my midwife, she either lied to me when she answered, or she refused to discuss the concern, or she said, you don't want to do that. That is not good care. That is not considerate care. That is not compassionate care. That is definitely not best care. If you have a relevant question, your provider should answer it for you.
Yeah, you shouldn't be getting dismissed, because that's what happened to me. Was my care was very dismissed, and then my care the next time around was completely different in every single way. And I can say, as a first-time mom, you don't really know what good care is. You don't know what the best care is. You don't really know what to expect, what not to expect. So it's kind of hard. So sometimes maybe you have a doctor where you're kind of like, I don't know, or a midwife, you're like, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe they don't pay attention to me, or I'm asking questions, they're not really answering the questions, or, you're feeling kind of dismissed. And, it's such a different experience to have good care after you've had crappy care. And then you're like, whoa, now I know what the difference is. But now it's kind of like too late. I've already had the crappy care. And so, I mean, I do understand a lot of first-time moms get told a lot of nonsense, and I do get kind of dismissed because they're like, oh, you're a first-time mom. But almost in a way, we kind of need to treat first-time moms a little bit different and give them a little bit extra information, because they really don't know. They really don't know what's going on with their body. They really don't know after your baby's here. They don't know a lot of things. They don't know about birth. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just that we don't know. We're first-time moms. So, I mean, yeah, I didn't know. And I thought I was getting pretty decent care because I spent months getting to know somebody and having hours and hours of, for my appointments. But that doesn't mean I was getting good care. That just means I was hanging out with somebody. Like I was hanging out with someone that treated me like as if your friend would treat you. But that's not the same as getting good care.
I was just thinking about when you mentioned that. If you go to a lot of websites, if it's a doula or a midwife, and you look at, oh, we do this, and they explain their plan of care online, that's not good care. That's not personalized care. Good care is going to be the care that takes into consideration your history, your current condition, the symptoms that you're experiencing. It takes all that into consideration, not talking to you for an hour. That doesn't really, you're heard, and that is important. And I know it's a different situation for some people when they're not heard, because there's a lot to be said for racism in medicine and not being heard and not being listened to. But we're talking about someone who has the privilege of seeking out care as they wish. And if you're going to a website and you're looking, oh, we do water births and we take everybody's care personally. If your philosophy can be explained in a website and it's the only one that you use, that is not good care. And people need to think about why they're seeking out that kind of care? What else is missing that you feel like if you just sit in a bath to give birth, that will take care of everything?
And I think that the whole, I don't know, being heard, it might sound kind of like different, but it's like for me to even throw this out there. But as the years have gone on, and I ended up getting diagnosed with PTSD after my son, and then I've had to do therapy and I've had to do like all these things. Being heard is a big part of just us as people. And so it sounds kind of weird, but it's almost like a lot of people might need more therapy. Like then we realize, like, because it's good for you to go be heard, have somebody that's going to listen to you. And, and you go to the doctor and they're like speeding in and out of the room because they only have so many minutes, to answer your questions, check you out, do all this stuff. And so sometimes it's kind of like you feel kind of like dismissed because it's like, you want to talk more to them or whatever. And then you have a midwife where you're like just sitting talking, but they're not actually listening. They're not actually doing any healthcare stuff. They're not actually doing the stuff that's like actually checking you out, actually doing the testing. They're not doing that. So it seems like, wow, this is really nice. And she really cares. And she's really like listening to me and, I'm important to her. But then the reality is when it comes down to kind of those moments that you really need her to kick it into gear to show like she's a good provider, she kind of fails. You know what I mean? Like not always does it happen, but there's a lot of chances that there's this, like, we've been friends all these 9 months. And then when it gets down to the end and there's certain things, like then suddenly, they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. They're not getting you the care that you need. They're not monitoring you the way that you need. Maybe they didn't do the testing that they were supposed to do. And now birth is coming and now stuff is popping up that could have been prevented from testing that should have been done before. Like there's a lot of things. And that's where I think care gets kind of confusing to people, is because it's like, what's good care and what's not care. When we're not medical, we don't know all the medical stuff that they're looking for. We don't know all the things that they're doing. So you think a doctor, when they're like, they want to just take my blood and, and they want me to like pee in a cup and they want me to and they're like, okay, bye. Like, like have a good day. And they kind of just leave you alone or they run out the room. You're like, wow, it was so cold. But then, you have this midwife who's like, yeah, I'm your friend, but then they don't do any testing and they don't do any monitoring and they don't know anything about you. So you have like such a different, I don't know. It's such a different world. Like I don't know. I can go back and look at how different it was between them and, oh my gosh, between my two boys of the care. And it's just so weird.